It is the 6th of January, a little after 5 in the morning, and you are standing in the dark at the edge of a field with your hands pushed down in your coat pockets. The snow is old and crusted, and it squeaks under your boots. There is no light anywhere except one lantern swinging away off across the road, and then another behind it, and then another, and you realize you are watching a line of families walking to a barn in the black cold before sunrise. Nobody is talking much. You can hear the buggy wheels on the packed snow, and a horse blow out through its nose, and that is about all. And when you look back over your shoulder at the town, out past the fence line, you can see the dumpsters behind the shopping center, and they are full of wrapping paper. Full to the lid, because out there, Christmas has been over for 12 days. 12 days over. The trees are already dragged to the curb with tinsel still hanging off them. The lights are coming down off the gutters. The credit card bill has landed in the mailbox. And here, in this field, in the dark, with a lantern in her hand and a baby wrapped against her shoulder, a woman is walking toward a barn because this morning, right now, this is the day. This is Christmas. Not a makeup day, not a leftover, the real one. And she is not late. She would tell you, kind as anything, that it is the rest of the world that got the day wrong, and that they got it wrong a long time ago, and that nobody out there ever went back to check. Now I want you to sit with that a moment, because I think you have got a feeling in you already, and I want to name it before we go any further. It is not that you think these folks are strange. It is that some small part of you is standing in that cold field with them thinking, quietly, where did mine go? You remember a Christmas that had a smell to it and a quiet to it, before it turned into a schedule and a budget and a thing to survive, and you did not lose it because you got older. You lost it because somebody moved it, an inch at a time, over about 40 years, until the day you are exhausted on the 26th of December, and you cannot say what any of it was for. And the strangest part is that the thing you are missing never went anywhere. It is right there in that barn. It has been running the whole time, out past the fence line, and nobody out there ever thought to look. My name is Amos. I am Amish, and I farm a valley here in Ohio, the same ground my father worked, and his father before him, and I have kept every Christmas of my life in it. I did not learn what I am going to tell you out of a book. I learned it standing on a cold floor at 4 in the morning, with my mother buttoning my coat, and from my grandfather, who had hands like tree roots, and it came to him the same way from folks whose names I never knew. This is not knowledge I own. It is knowledge that passed through me on its way to you. And I am not going to tell you today how to do a single thing. There is no method in this one. There are no measurements. I am going to open a door and let you look in, and you can decide for yourself what to do about what you see. But I do owe you the mystery first, because there is one, and it is the whole reason you and I are standing here in the dark. Right now, at this hour, part of my people are just beginning Christmas, and the rest of the world is out at the curb taking the lights down. Same country, same week, 2 Christmases, 12 days apart, and both of them certain they have got the right day. It is not a mistake. It is not stubbornness. It comes down to one thing, and it is the thing almost nobody knows to ask about. It comes down to which calendar you follow, and to a change somebody made a long time ago that most of the world simply accepted without a word. That is the knot, and I am going to untie it for you, and then I am going to walk you through the whole of the day it makes. What is in that barn? What is not in that barn? What is under the gifts, and there are gifts? What is on the table? Who gets sung to? What everybody wears? And what happens on the 12 days that come after, which is the part that would surprise you most of all. So let me start with the calendar, because everything else hangs off it. A long time back, the world changed how it counted the days. The old reckoning had drifted, and to correct it, they simply lifted a handful of days out of the year and threw them away. People went to bed one night and woke up 11 days later. Most of the world shrugged and went along. Not everybody did. There were folks who looked at that and said, plain and quiet, that a man does not get to reach into the calendar and move a holy day with his hands, and some of those folks were my people. So they kept the old reckoning, and on the old reckoning the day lands on the 6th of January. We call it Old Christmas. It has not moved since. Everybody else moved. We just did not go with them. And here is the thing I most want you to hear, because it says everything about how my people carry themselves in this world. They do not fight about it. They do not write letters. They do not stand out at the road with a sign telling you your December is wrong. They just call the 25th of December the world's Christmas. That is the phrase. Not said mean, said the way you would say the neighbor's field. It is a real thing, and it belongs to somebody else. And plenty of families will keep both. They will sit down together on the world's Christmas, because their cousins do and their neighbors do, and then 12 days later they will get up in the dark and keep their own. 2 Christmases. And I want you to notice which one they get up at 4 in the morning for. Now let me tell you what is not in that barn. Slow, because the absences are the loudest part of the whole day. There is no Santa Claus. And I do not mean the children are told he is not real and they cry about it. I mean he never arrives at all. He is not in the house. He is not in the stories. He is not on the cards. That is the one that gets people. My people send cards. They are lovely. And there is not a red suit on any of them. There is no reindeer. Nobody in that barn could tell you the name of the one with the nose. There is no tree. Not a small one, not a real one, not a fake one in a box in the attic. And there is not one strand of tinsel in this whole valley. Not a scrap of garland, not a bulb, not a bow, not a single thing hung up for the purpose of being looked at. And there is no music but voices. No guitar, no piano, not even a pitch pipe. And you are waiting for me to say how sad that is, and I am not going to, because here is what I have noticed. Out there, all of that is the Christmas. It is not decoration on top of the day. It is the day. Take the tree and the lights, and the man in the suit, and the songs on the speaker, out of a modern December, and ask what is left standing, and you will find yourself in a very quiet room. My people took all of it out at the start, and something was still there. They did not strip Christmas down and end up with nothing. They stripped it down and found what was underneath holding it up the entire time. Which brings me to the hardest fact in this whole video, and I want to give it to you straight because it will tell you more than anything else will. They go back to work the next day. The 7th of January, they are out in it. Chores at the usual hour, in the usual cold. The day off is strictly for the day, and when the day is done, the day is done. There is no long, slow slide of leftovers and television, and a week of nobody quite knowing what day it is. And I know how that sounds from where you are sitting. But turn it over. Out there, a man will burn himself down to ash for 6 weeks getting ready for one morning, and then need 4 days on the couch to get over the morning he spent 6 weeks getting ready for. Here, the day costs almost nothing to build, so it costs almost nothing to come down from. Nobody needs a vacation from it. That is not hardness. That is what a day looks like when it never got heavy. And there is a day I owe you a word about, because it has its own name and hardly anyone outside knows it. The 26th of December, in plenty of these communities, is called Second Christmas. It is not a shopping day. It is a second day given over to visiting, to sitting in somebody else's kitchen, to the people you did not get to the day before. I will not dress it up beyond that, because it is not the same in every settlement, and I would rather tell you little and true than much and false. But hold on to the shape of it. Out there, the day after is for standing in a line at a counter with a receipt. Here, the day after has a name, and the name means go see somebody. So let me take you inside the barn, since that is where you have been standing in the cold this whole time. The service runs 3 hours. It can run longer. It starts before the sun is up. There are no cushions on those benches, and I will not pretend otherwise, because I have sat on them my whole life, and they are exactly as hard as you think. The men are on one side, and the women on the other. The oldest sit up front, and the preaching is in Pennsylvania Dutch, the tongue we speak at home, so the words come to you in the same language your mother used to call you in for supper. Now here is what I watched my whole life, and only understood when I was grown. Look down that barn from the back. The elders at the front, then the ones with children, then the young ones, then the babies. What you are looking at is not seating. It is a map of the whole thing, laid out in the flesh, every Sunday and every old Christmas. You can see with your own eyes, where you came from, and where you are going, and who is holding it all up. Nobody explains that to a child. The child sits in it for 18 years and it goes in deeper than explaining ever could. Now, the gifts. And yes, there are gifts, and I want to walk you around the room and show you a few, because this is where I think you will feel it worst. A wooden train, cut and carved and sanded by a father over 2 months of nights after the children were in bed, and the wheels turn. They truly turn. He got that right, because if you are going to make a train, you make one that rolls. A quilt, pieced through a whole winter. A rocking chair out of oak, made by a man for his wife, and that chair will be sat in by grandchildren she has not met yet. Wool mittens knitted to fit one particular pair of hands. A basket of jars put up back in July, which means somebody stood in a hot kitchen in the summer already thinking about your January. And the children give too. There is a boy in that valley right now sanding a little box smooth for his sister, and he has been at it for weeks, and his thumbs are sore, and he is going to hand it to her and watch her face. He is 9, no batteries, no assembly instructions. Nothing in that room came out of a box with a picture of itself on the front. And I want to put the 2 rooms side by side, gentle as I can. Out there we stand outside a store at midnight in the cold, to buy things we do not need, with money we do not have, to impress people we are not entirely sure we like. And on the morning it is all torn open in 9 minutes flat, and the floor is a foot deep in paper, and by evening half of it is boring, and one of them needs a battery nobody has. Here, a boy hands his sister a wooden box that took him 3 weeks, and she will have it when she is 80. Now, which of those 2 rooms did we build on purpose, and which one just happened to us while we were busy? I do not think anybody chose it. I think it crept up an inch a year, and we never once looked up. Let us go through to the table, because you can smell it from here. There is chicken, and that chicken was walking around the yard that same morning, which I will admit is a sentence that lands different depending on where you were raised. There is cured ham, hung and salted and waited on for months. There is shoofly pie, which is molasses and brown sugar and the plainest thing in the world, and that recipe has not changed one word since before electricity existed. Nobody improved it. Nobody put a twist on it. There was nothing wrong with it. There are eggs on that table from hens the children know by name, and I mean actual names, and I will not tell you which because that is between the children and the hens. And there is the Yoder casserole, which has an ingredient in it that nobody in this valley has identified in 3 generations. 3 generations of women with their heads tipped, going, "Is that nutmeg?" It is not nutmeg. Nobody knows, nobody is telling. And out there we eat food that was designed in a building, by people, on purpose, to make you want a second one. That is a job somebody has. And we eat it in the car on the way to the next thing. Now, I am not going to tell you that you have got to go raise a chicken, but notice that not one thing on that Amish table has a story that starts with a factory. Every one of them has a story that starts with a person, and mostly a person you can go and hug. Now the singing, and this is the piece I would give you first if I could only give you one. They go out caroling, no instruments, so it is voices alone, and they go by buggy in the freezing dark. Somebody old starts the note. That is how it works. One of the veteran singers puts the first note into the air, and everybody finds it and comes in under him, standing in a half circle in the snow outside somebody's door, and nobody knocked first and nobody called ahead. And here is the thing, because when I finally understood it as a young man, I had to go stand behind the barn a while. They do not go to the biggest houses. They do not go where the party is. They choose deliberately, sitting around a table beforehand and choosing. They go to the widows, they go to the sick, and they go to every family that has lost somebody in the year just gone. Those houses first. They will take a buggy for miles through hard snow, in the dark, to get to one old woman living alone off a back road, because she is the one who needs it. And it will not be perfect, because Ezra cannot hold a note in a bucket. Participation, not perfection. Nobody has to audition. And it is the most beautiful thing I have ever heard in my life, and it is not close. Now think on your own December. We have got the finest singing ever recorded, pouring out of the ceiling of every store in the country, all month, played so loud that nobody can hear it. And somewhere on your street tonight, there is a woman whose husband died in March, sitting in a house with the lights off, and this is the first one without him, and nobody is going to knock on her door. We did not do it out of meanness. We just got busy. We got so busy celebrating that we ran clean out of time for the exact people the whole thing is supposed to be about. Let me tell you what everybody has on, because this one is short and it is my favorite. They wear their clothes, the same clothes, plain, the way they are every day of the year, only clean and pressed and seen to, every seam right, turned out perfect. The care is the decoration. Out there we have got black tie optional. Here it is more like slightly darker blue permitted, and I know how that reads. But I will tell you what nobody in that barn is doing. Nobody is standing at a closet at 6 in the morning in a rising panic. Nobody is doing the arithmetic on who saw what last year. Nobody walked in and got a look. There is not one person in that building thinking about what they have got on, which means every one of them is thinking about something else. There is a freedom hidden in there that we sold for almost nothing. So that is the day. But the day is not the end of it, and this is the part almost nobody outside ever hears about. The 12 days. After Old Christmas, the visiting starts, and it goes on for weeks. Families take turns hosting, house to house to house, and it does not stop. And through the middle of it runs a kind of charity you will not recognize because it does not look like charity at all. Somebody notices a widow's woodpile is low, so the wood shows up. That is the whole event. Nobody tells her it is coming. Nobody is thanked, particularly, and nobody, not one soul, photographs it. It does not get posted anywhere. It does not get mentioned at church. The people who did it, and the woman with the wood, are the only ones who will ever know, and both sides consider that the obvious way for such a thing to go. And this is also the season when the young folks are doing their courting, and when weddings tend to fall, because the harvest is in, and the visiting is on, and everybody is already in everybody else's kitchen. I will leave it there, because the how of that is theirs and not mine to hand out. But you see the shape of it. The whole community is in motion, house to house, for weeks, and out of all that moving around, marriages come. Now here comes the turn, and I want you to lean in for it, because I have been walking you the wrong way around this on purpose. This whole time, you have been feeling sorry for them. Somewhere back around the tinsel, or the singing without a piano, or the boy with the sanded box, a small voice in you said, "Well, that is lovely, but they are missing out. And I let you carry that all the way here, so let me set it down in front of you. They are not missing out. They have got a day they do not have to recover from. Gifts nobody is going to return. A room where the only thing anybody wants from you is you. A woman on a back road who will hear singing at her door tonight. And now tell me honest, out of your last 5 Christmases, how many can you actually remember? Not the photographs, the day. When they get up in the dark and walk to that barn, they are not the ones standing out in the cold looking in at a warm room. We are. And I am not saying that to make you feel bad, because you did not do this. Nobody did. It was not taken from you by a villain, and I am not going to hand you one, because there is not one. What actually happened is simpler and near enough worse. There is no money in a boy sanding a box. There is no money in a chair that lasts 4 generations. There is enormous money in a thing that has to be bought again next year. So the parts of Christmas that could be sold got louder every year, and the parts that could not be sold got quieter, and nobody ever decided it. That is not a conspiracy. That is just which way the water runs when nobody is minding the ditch. So let me set the whole of it in your hands. 2 calendars, and one of them never moved. A room with no tree and no tinsel, and no Santa, and nothing in it that lights up, and everything still standing when you take all that away. Work the next morning, because a day that costs nothing to build costs nothing to come down from. 3 hours on a hard bench before dawn, sitting inside a living map of your own people. Gifts with sore thumbs in them, chicken from the yard, choufle pie from before electricity, and a casserole nobody has solved in 3 generations. Voices in the dark at the door of the ones who lost somebody. Clean clothes and no closet panic. And 12 days of visiting with the woodpile filling up quietly behind it, and nobody posting a thing about it. Not more presents, more of each other. Now I want to hear from you, and I mean that true. Tell me down below where you live, what corner of this world you are in tonight, and tell me about the Christmas you actually remember. Not the best one, the one that comes back to you on its own. And I want one thing in particular. What is the gift you still have? Go on and look. Is it the expensive one, or the one somebody made with their hands? Because I have asked this of a good many people, and the answer never once surprises me. And tell me what your own family did, before all of it turned into a competition. Was there a bowl your grandmother put out? Was there a song? Was there a place everybody went? Somebody in your line knew how to do this once, and did it well, and did it with nothing. I read every single comment that comes to me. Everyone. Because this knowledge does not live in books. It lives in kitchens, and in cellars, and in the memory of folks like you. And every time one of you writes down what your people did, a little piece of it gets saved from being forgotten. So do not keep it to yourself. And before you go, let me tell you what I am going to show you next time. There is a hole in the ground under an Amish yard, dug out by hand 150 years ago by men with nothing but shovels and patience, and it is still giving a whole family its water today. No tank, no pump, not one barrel out under the downspout, nothing you could buy at a store, then or now. And what is down in that hole, and how they lined it, and the reason the water in it comes out clean, is the cleverest thing my people ever did, and almost nobody knows it exists. I am going to take you down into it, so come back for it. Until then, keep it simple, keep it honest, and keep it homemade. And remember, the people who built this country with their hands knew things we are only just starting to remember.